47 soldiers were trapped deep behind enemy lines. No backup was coming, no rescue plan in sight. But Aramy Petrosian refused to leave them to die. He risked everything to save them all, then vanished without a trace. Who was this man? And why has no one ever heard his name? This is the unbelievable true story that history tried to erase. Stay tuned to watch and discover the forgotten hero you need to know. It was January 1944, deep winter near a small village called Novigrad in the Carpathian Mountains. The Axis forces, led by General Klaus Richter, launched a surprise attack. It trapped 47 Allied soldiers behind enemy lines, including Lieutenant Michael Harris and Sergeant James O'Connor. The men were cold, injured, and running out of hope. Among them was a young soldier named Aramy Petrosian, just 22 years old. He was from a nearby village called Varnitsa. He wasn't an officer. He didn't have medals or glory, just a quiet, brave heart. When Captain Elias Novak gave the order to retreat, many soldiers pulled back, but not Aramy. He stepped forward and volunteered for a mission no one else would take, to go behind enemy lines and save the trapped men. Aramy wasn't a superhero. He was scared, tired, and missed home. Just like Private Thomas Gregorian and Corporal Peter Lentz next to him. But what kept him going was one thing: loyalty, especially to his childhood friend, Sergeant Ivan Petrov. They were deep behind enemy lines. No backup. The freezing terrain was brutal, and German patrols were everywhere. Still, Aramy made up his mind. He wouldn't leave anyone behind, not if he could help it. That night, Aramy went out alone. The forest was dark and quiet, except for the distant sound of gunfire. He avoided German patrols led by Lieutenant Franz Bauer. He crossed icy streams and carefully stepped around hidden mines. At last, he found Lieutenant Michael Harris and his men hiding in an old abandoned barn. They were cold, weak, and starving. Aramy lifted the wounded Sergeant James O'Connor onto his back. He shared the little water he had and whispered words of encouragement to keep everyone going. But danger was getting closer. The enemy was almost there. Enemy soldiers closed in around the barn. Aramy was almost caught, but thinking fast, he threw a smoke grenade. The cloud of smoke confused the soldiers, just long enough for him to escape with the others. As they ran, a bullet grazed his arm. The pain was sharp, but he kept moving. Hours later, he found Corporal Peter Lentz stuck in a ravine, with 3 more men who were too weak to walk. Aramy used tree branches and his own coat to make stretchers. For the next 48 hours, through snow and enemy patrols, Aramy led all 47 men, wounded, cold, and exhausted, back to safety. At dawn on the second day, Aramy finally led the last soldier back to Allied lines. News of his daring rescue spread fast through the troops. The man had saved 47 lives against impossible odds. But here's the twist. When the war ended, Aramy declined all medals and honors. He refused interviews, avoided reunions, and returned to his village, quietly. Why? Some say he carried the weight of the men he couldn't save. Others believe he never wanted glory, only peace. Aramy Petrosian lived out his days tending a small farm, surrounded by family, never speaking of the war. The official records barely mention him. History forgot the man who risked everything, because real heroes don't always seek recognition. But the 47 soldiers Aramy saved, they carried his story in their hearts, passing it down to their children and grandchildren. Aramy's courage reminds us that heroism isn't about medals or fame. It's about sacrifice, love, and doing what's right when no one is watching. So next time you hear about forgotten heroes, remember Aramy, the soldier who saved 47 lives, then vanished forever. If you believe stories like Aramy's deserve to be remembered, share this video, because some heroes don't want the spotlight, but they deserve it just as much.